Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing episode on the Unleashing Potentials podcast. I'm your host, Bernadette. Joining me today is Otis. Is that how I pronounce your name?
Otis D. Gore. Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. How are you?
I'm blessed and highly favored. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the platform.
You're welcome. So, Otis, what is it that you do? And tell us more about you and your story.
Well, I'm a certified speaker and I'm the author of the influential self-help book, The Audacity of Doubt. And I'm out of New York City. And obviously I'm directly from the Bronx. So, people hear things about the Bronx. But I'm a product of the Bronx and I grew up in New York. And I'm also a real estate broker. I have a team of 10 agents who also sell real estate in New York. It's rough, but you gotta grind, just like anything else.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely. I've been to Canada once. I've been to on a bus trip to Toronto.
Okay.
I've been to that. That's why I mentioned Toronto. I've been there once, and it was very clean. I noticed that it was really clean. Well, at least where I was.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome. Did
It
you
was
come
really
in the
clean. And what
winter?
was crazy, I remember before TD Bank actually came to America.
Hmm.
And when I saw the logo here, I said, why does that look familiar? Then I realized I actually went to a TD Bank in Canada
Yeah.
when I was there. Because I remember when I went to the cash machine, it didn't give me the money that looked like American money. It gave me this money that looked like food stamps. I was like, what's that? It was odd. And when I bought
Yeah.
something from the local store, like when you go and look in downtown Toronto, they have like the people selling stuff, and the lady gave me back $2, but she gave me $2 and a $2 a coin.
Mhm.
So I was like, I think you cheated me. And she said, no, that's $2. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. The money's
It
very
was a
different.
little, it was a
Yeah,
little odd, yeah.
yeah.
But I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. Come visit us in the winter. You'll love it.
Oh, great. I heard about your winters.
Oh, they're brutal. Yeah, yeah, definitely. So tell us more about the book that I'm looking at behind you in the background there.
Yes.
Yeah, tell me more.
So I wrote this book called The Audacity of Doubt because it actually stands for, as you can see the tagline, it's pushing through limiting beliefs to live your best life.
Mm.
So I wrote it because I found myself mentoring a lot of people, mentoring a lot of students and or agents as well. I've always been like in sales management, and I've always noticed that the one thing that a lot of salespeople or people in general have is anytime they want to do something, there's an emotion that kind of gets into their mindset and it kind of pauses them, and that's doubt, doubt and fear.
Mhm.
So I found myself constantly having conversations about that with people and trying to tell them, don't let it stop you, push, push. So then it hit me. I said, you know what? I need to write a book about this. But,
Mm.
to call it something that would like stand out, like you want to say like the nerve of like when you tell somebody how you trying to stop me, or you got the nerve to do that.
Mm.
So I figured the audacity of doubt, the audacity of the emotion and the thought process and every time you're trying to do something, it comes in your mind and stops you. And a lot of us actually succumb to that emotion. We succumb to that mental capacity. So there's 13 chapters here. It helps you work on your time, your mindset, your growth, your value, and obviously doubt. And it gives you practical strategies and there's stories in there. It's a pretty good read. I've been getting some good reviews.
Oh wow, that's incredible. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're tackling things that we face every single day,
Yes, absolutely.
things that all of us have experienced, and at times it's hard to know how to process what we're experiencing, even
Hmm.
harder to put a label on it. So the fact
Yeah.
that you talking about doubt, you clarify what it is you're tackling firsthand, so people
Hmm.
don't have to guess what it is you're putting in the book. Walk me through the process of you. What are some doubts earlier on in your life or in the process of writing your book that you've experienced?
Yeah, that's a good question because I actually procrastinated and doubted that I would even start the book, believe it or not. So everything starts with a thought process. Everything goes into your mind. There's a whole millions and millions of thoughts that go through your mind, but there's very few that actually will catch your attention and very few things that you want to actually move on, right?
Mhm.
So when that was a doubt for me, one of the main things was doubting writing the book. So I thought to myself, you know what? Because I didn't feel like, first of all, if I had the patience to even finish it, because it's a lot of patience. It's a lot of patience because I used to get up 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, so I could have some peace and get on my computer and just start writing and thinking what I can think. And I write a lot. I used to write a lot of things when I used to jog. I used to think about a lot of things. But I had doubt when it comes to the book. There was doubt in my life, even when I was coming out of high school. I didn't really know what I want to do, which the book actually talks about a little bit. And the book is actually geared towards, if you really want to think about a demographic,
Mm,
the youth, like 17, 18, 19, they're very impressionable. They're not really sure what they want to do with their lives. They have an idea, they have something that they would like to do, but will you actually go ahead and do it? Because in the book, I talk about, three different ways that people think when they want to start and do something in life. They're either intrigued by something, they either believe they can actually do it, but then there's that third leg where there's a true belief that they can actually do it. See, as you and I are speaking right now, I'm pretty sure before this podcast came on, and before when we woke up today, that we had a lot of thoughts. There was a lot of things that we were always intrigued about. Oh, that's cool. That's
mhm,
cool. That's cool. But very few things that we believe we could do. Then
mhm,
you have a few things that you believe you could do. Then you get up, you work towards it. And then as soon as you have a little adversity,
mhm,
now you got to make a decision. Do I still want to go forward with it? Or I was cool, but let me see. Let me start thinking about something else. Who knows? But then there's that one or two things that you truly believe you can do. No matter what nobody say, that it holds enough value in your life that you're gonna do it anyway. You're gonna feel the fear, but do it anyway.
mm.
They're gonna say, you can't do that, Bernadette. What you trying to do? Don't worry about me. I know I got this. I'm doing me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
very few you
yeah.
know so when you find that thing or that few things and you continue on, you're going to get knocked down, you're going to look up, see the ceiling, you could get back up like Les Brown said, and
Mhm,
you're just going to keep on pushing. It's very rare to find that what that is. I mean, I'm going to guess that even yourself, when you wanted to start this podcast, you were like, that's cool, that's kind of interesting, and let me see what I'm going to do. There was a little apprehension maybe because you had to think about the technical side. Okay, I got to get this, the camera, and all that. But you followed through, you pushed through, and here you are now
yeah,
with a
yeah.
nice space background, like you're in the universe.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, you mentioned Les Brown. I've interviewed a lady who she's met him.
Oh
He's
yeah, I met Les Brown.
yeah, yeah. He's a cool
Very
dude.
good guy.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. So what are some key habits when it comes to doubt?
So I always see what I tell people is like this. When it comes to a thought process, when it comes to a mental capacity like doubt, which we all deal with,
Mhm,
I try to explain to them, don't you have to look at things differently. So obviously there's a phrase that says when you look at things differently, things you look at look different, right? So when you're faced with something that you doubt that you're gonna do, like you have a little apprehension, don't look at it as it trying to stop you. Don't look at it as it's trying to hold you back. Look at it as an opportunity. Look at it as an option. Look at it as a way of saying, hey, why is it trying to stop me? I'm going to move forward anyway because there must be something behind that it doesn't want me to see.
yeah, yeah.
So the way you approach things is the best course of action to move towards your actual purpose, right? Because I've done a speech the other day, maybe about a couple of weeks ago, and I asked a question to the audience. I said, "What is the true purpose of life?" Right?
Mm,
And the audience was like, "Oh, people were saying world peace." People are throwing out questions. So I said, "You all got good answers, but here's my answer: the true purpose of life is one thing,
mhm,
and that is to have a life of purpose.
mm.
Simple as that." Right? So there's a famous motivational speaker years ago, Zig Ziglar. You ever heard of him?
No.
Right. So, well, yeah, okay. So Zig Ziglar once said,
I
right,
like the
he talked
name
about,
though.
yeah, he's from the old school, like the 80s. I'm not, I'm not, trying to age myself, but he's one of the very first people to do it. I was very young then, just so you know. But
Mm.
as I got older and got more into motivational speaking and everything, I looked up some people. So there's a quote that stuck with me this about years ago when I heard this, like in the 2000s. And when I heard it, I was like, wow. Sometimes when you hear something, it's not a motivation, it's an inspiration because it automatically stays with you, right? Because I was talking to these students, right? And obviously when you talk to students, you talk about potential and what you could be and purpose and all that. So I said there was a quote that says, "When I was born, my potential went ahead of me. So now my life journey is to try to catch up to myself."
Ooh.
So now your life journey is to try to reach your potential, right? That's the point.
Mhm.
So your potential is something that most of us don't reach. Most of us go to the grave without even reaching your full potential.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know and the reason why you have to constantly reach for your potential is because what you don't want to do is you don't want to oppose it. A lot of us stand in our own way, and what we do is we oppose our own potential because most of us don't reach it, because we have the doubt and the fear to even go that extra mile, do that extra thing. It's like if I look at you and you look at me, we're just ordinary people. But then when you see, we talked about people like Les Brown, who's doing great stuff. He's ordinary as well, except he's doing the little extra, which makes what he's doing extraordinary
Mm.
because
Yeah.
he's doing the extra, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not any different than you and I. They're just extraordinary things that they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. Like if people see Mr. Sid, they see you on your podcast, they see you on YouTube or what have you, someone who might want to do that might look at you and say, "Oh, wow, she's doing it. That's cool." They're going to look at you and say, "Wow, okay." They may see you as something more
Mm. Yeah.
than what they are because of that. You understand what I mean?
I do. Yeah. Yeah. That's, I always tell
Absolutely.
people I'm from nowhere.
You are
Right?
from
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah. 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 Meaning, I, all of us have an ego side to us. It is
Yeah.
human.
We call
I
it
always
confidence.
wrestle with mine and put it to sleep and connect with people and kind of remove it out of the way so I can show the people you're talking about that, hey, I'm no different. You can do this too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, as I'm looking at the background, I'm looking at the universe, I always feel that the universe would always put in place what you draw towards you, right?
Mm,
I always say like the universe is the greatest creation in the universe is a human being. I always think about a human being because a lion can only be a lion, a tiger could be a tiger, a giraffe can only be a giraffe, a bird can be a bird. They are born to do specific things. Some are born to stay alive and not be hunted, and some are born to hunt to stay alive. We can adapt, we can change, we can adjust, we can become what we truly believe that we want to become or what we're willing to constantly work for. If I want to truly believe that Otis D. Gore is going to be a doctor, or before I could become the greatest doctor, I got to become a doctor first,
mm,
right?
yeah.
So if I believe that I'm going to attain something, I got to do the basis. I got to lay the groundwork to do that. That's the difference between a human being and any other creation in the universe.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, do you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm just
thank you.
agreeing because it is true. It
It's a
is
true
true.
statement.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why I call my podcast Potentials. I add the word potentials in there. And
Yes,
then unleashing. Because
unleashing.
yeah, I've dissected the name of the podcast over and over for people and we have so much potential to do anything,
Right.
like you said, but
It's
we don't.
it's it's funny how the most potential in the world is in the graveyard. Because most
Yeah,
of us go to the grave without reaching that potential. That is a true statement.
yeah,
I will guarantee you, like if you think about this, anytime when someone passes away, most people are sad. But most people they're only sad, they may not realize why they're actually sad. Because what do people say when someone dies? Oh, that person is where? In a better place, right?
yeah, yeah.
They say, oh, he or she's in a better place. I'm glad that okay, if he or she is in a better place, why are you sad?
Mm, yeah,
I tell you why you're sad. You're sad because the access physically to the person is no longer granted.
yeah.
You can't call the person, you can't hug the person, you can't look in their eyes, you can't get a reaction, you can't speak to them directly. That's what you're going to miss. So anything that was affiliated with the person or attached to the person, that looks different. Remember in the beginning of our conversation, we talked about when you look at things differently, the things you look at look different.
Yeah.
When you if you had a friend or a sister or brother, someone, and they affected your life in some way, because when people leave the earth, when they leave the body and the soul leaves, they become whatever is the legacy they left behind is what people have to draw to hold on to, right? So whatever that what was affiliated with them, like you may have someone that's they might have a car, a specific car, or a jacket or a glove or something. You look at it differently now because we know who it belonged to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the physical access is not what's available, and that's all mental. So when you see someone grieve differently, if you see someone say, "Well, your person just died and you're not even crying," I am grieving. I grieve differently.
Mm. Wow.
You know, it's amazing, when you really focus in on the internal thought process and the internal feelings of a human being.
Hmm.
I told this, I spoke at a school in the Bronx, and I told these youngsters, I said, there's something inside of each and every one of you that only you can find. No matter what a teacher tells you, no matter what books you read, no matter what actions you take, there's something inside of you that only you know that's there. You got to find it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody else. There's no magic pill.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah. Wow, so powerful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Um,
Well,
can you,
since
yeah,
you said that, let me give you my deep voice. You're
yeah,
welcome.
go.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you touch a little bit on an imposter syndrome, which all of us have,
Yes,
some more
which
than
I
others?
speak about in the book. So the imposter syndrome that affected me one time. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Mm,
The imposter syndrome is just a feeling that you have when you feel like you don't belong. Something happens to you. You're in a certain room, you're around a certain people, and you don't feel comfortable because, oh, how did I get here? I don't
mm,
feel like I'm undeserving of this. But what people got to understand is whatever comes your way, whatever is in your hindsight, your line of sight, the opportunity is there for you to take advantage of it. There's something that you might have done in your past, unbeknownst to you, that created that opportunity. Because you got to remember, the universe is constantly sending signals. And
mhm.
whatever it is that you gravitate towards, once the universe feels that, okay, they really want to try it, they'll start putting things in place to see how you react to it. I like to call it, whenever you wanted to do something, I call it like touch your dream, right? So you want to be around the process. You want to be around people. If you wanted to be a singer, or you want to be a basketball player, whatever, you got to be on a team first, right? You got to be around the sport. It's like touching your dream. You kind of touch it, feeling it out, right? So when you think about the imposter syndrome, that happened to me when I was in corporate America, when people would always see me as a person of, Otis, I want you to watch the team while I'm gone, or watch the floor while I'm gone if I'm not a supervisor, what have you. And when that used to happen to me, I used to be like, why me? Like, what if they ask me a question? That when I was, this was in the early in the 90s when I was working for corporate America. But then I began to realize, you know what it is? What I used to do beforehand, I didn't believe I belonged there, because when they would put me on the floor, I just look at people like, hope they don't ask me no questions. But then I realized that everybody's watching you. You never know who you're watching. I feel
Mm,
like you're always being interviewed, but you just don't know it, right?
yeah. Yeah.
So that's probably why they saw me and say, "Oh, just watch the floor," because I said to myself, "Oh, I see why they're probably saying that," because when I'm on the sales floor, if I'm a sales rep,
Hmm.
and because I was a sales rep in a call center, I said, anytime someone didn't know something, I would put my headphone down, go over there, help them do it like this, do it like that. Oh, I said, come here, let me show you how to do this. So they probably were watching that. That's what I realized. Oh, they probably were watching that. That's probably why they see me that way at that moment,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? So if I was a knucklehead, they would have been like, oh, just sit down and come to work on time. But that's just people see you differently than you see yourself. You know, I was on this local TV show here. It was called Sisters in Power. It's called Sit Fearlessly, right? It's simple. And they were asking me, how do I get motivated every day, right?
Hmm.
And I said, there's a process that I use, that this professor I saw, he called it the mirror effect, right?
Mm.
So when you wake up in the morning and when all of us look in the mirror, we look tired, our eyes are baggy, be like, oh Lord, what's going on with me, right? We
Yeah.
see what's looking back at us, right? But what we have to train our minds to do is to actually see two things. We have to see the reflection, right?
Mhm.
And we have to see the image. The image is in your mind of what you want to see when you look in that mirror. The image is something that you're working towards. The image is how you actually see yourself if you're willing to put in the work to actually bring it to fruition. That's the image.
Yeah.
The reflection is actually what you really see. The reflection is the reality, the pimples, the sky,
Mm,
everything.
yeah.
So now, overweight, whatever you are, right?
Mm.
So now for you to work on that reflection, to reflect what you see in your mind, what you got to do? You got to work on the reflection physically.
Mm,
You
yeah.
got to work on that pimple. You got to get some rest, get the bags out of your eyes. You got to work out and jog in order to you got to do something physical to change the image, to get kind of close to the image that you see here. Now, if you truly believe you see yourself a certain way, and that's what you want to achieve, then you're going to push through fear and you're going to push through doubt and you're going to achieve that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I agree. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Can you tell us what is your relationship with God and what are some storms that you've been brought through or continue to go through?
So, that's a open question for me because I've always been a spiritual person.
Mm,
Not particularly saying like Baptist or Catholic, oh, I'm God and God. I don't bring the religion into it like that. I bring to it in a more of a spiritual realm because I do believe in a higher calling. I do believe in a higher being. I do believe that there's a reason why we are all here. That's the whole point of trying to find out what that is. And that's our job as humans, is to figure out why we were born. The
mhm.
most important 2 days in your life, the day you were born, and the second one is to figure out why.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
So there's a point, like when a child is conceived, there's a millions and millions and millions of amoebas in the body, in the lady's body. One or two, sometimes three, pop out. Boop, they made it. They
Yeah.
pop out to have the opportunity to become human.
Mm,
So what I say is the amoeba pops out, and there's the opportunity to go through the 9 month process,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
To become human and to be born.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what it is. That's what an opportunity is. An opportunity happens like this. If you don't take advantage of it, if when humans, guess what happens to the opportunity? It doesn't go away. You know where it goes?
Nope.
To the next person.
Ooh,
The
wow.
opportunity don't go away, it goes to somebody else.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's what happens.
yeah.
That's the whole point of trying to reach the potential. That's the whole point of they say when the opportunity hit, it's not about the opportunity, it's about being ready for that.
Mm,
Right. So when it comes to a spiritual, I have a spiritual relationship. I do believe in a higher being, that I just don't want to put it in a category. Like
yeah.
I know that there's a God and all that, but there's different types of images of God. There's Buddhist, there's Catholic, there's Baptist, there's so many different.
Hmm.
So I just say I'm more of a spiritual realm and everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's kind of how I see things too.
Yeah.
That's yeah, I don't tie it to any specific religion.
Yeah.
Once you categorize something that massive, it gives people the illusion that there's control over it, which there isn't.
Yeah, and it gives the illusion that there's a limited option there because
Mm,
it's like a box. Like for example, if you say, "Oh, I believe in God, but I'm a Baptist," so that means I have to believe what the Baptists
yeah,
say, or I'm Jehovah Witness, I can only believe what they're talking about, or Muslim or what have you.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you always got to keep your mind open for information. You always got to keep your mind open so that you can process, and then you can make a decision. Changes a whole lot of things in people's lives, but the one thing that changes to me is necessary.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
It has to
Wow.
be.
Yeah.
Change is necessary no matter what, but people don't like change.
No.
People don't like change. They don't like that's where the doubt comes in because you took the time to do something. Why do you think people stay on a job for so long?
Mm,
The one thing about success, right? Depending on how you obtain it, success can actually enable you.
mm,
People don't realize that. I was telling my daughters that one time. I said success can actually enable you, meaning that you set out to hit a goal, you set out to do something, you grind, you grind, you grind, you've made it,
mhm,
you've displayed success. and now you got complacent
Mm,
because you got to think, what's next after that? What's the next level? What's another level of success? Whatever you're doing in your life, whatever mindset you had that got you where you are, that same mindset cannot get you to the next level. You got to change that.
mm,
That's a different mindset.
yeah, yeah,
So what are you willing to do to reach that?
mm, yeah,
And people got to understand that and say, listen, okay, what is it you ever notice how people stay on their lives, stay on a job or in a career or even in a relationship for so long that you can't help for things to go up and down, up and down, up and down. It happens. I mean, to me, I don't mind. I love it when life goes up and down, up and down, up and down. Because number one, I'm learning. Number two, I'm not flatlined. Because if you sit in the hospital, if you flatline, you know you're in trouble.
yeah,
When you're
yeah,
looking at that heart rate, you want it to go boop 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 boop, because that's what life is, right?
yeah,
Life is peaks and valleys.
hmm
Life is peaks and valleys, and you can't expect everything to go smooth all the time. What you gonna learn from that?
mm, yeah,
What you're gonna learn is that everything's easy. It's not. It's
hmm
not.
yeah.
You
That's
want things to be difficult sometimes. The reason why, because you want to be challenged. You want to learn. And I always tell people, I don't lose. I win or I learn.
hmm
One of the two.
yeah, that's so true. Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
so much wisdom and
Well,
I
this is unleash your potential, right?
absolutely love it, love it. Thank you for sharing. I have two questions for you as we wrap up. The first one is, what is the meaning of life for you?
Well, it's kind of sort of what I said. Like everyone talks about the meaning it depends on what it is you believe you want your life to be. Life right now is about being present, right? Being present in the moment. 'Cause that's all we have is the moment. We don't the yesterday is what it was. I can't dwell on that because it already happened.
Mhm,
All I could do is look back, look at it differently. So, because the past, I can't worry about the past. I can only look at it differently. Because when I look back on the past, guess what changes? Nothing,
mhm,
right? I can plan for the future. I can have a lot of faith in the future.
mhm,
All right, but I can't. But what I can't control is what's going to actually happen on the process of getting to what I truly believe I can get to.
yeah.
All right, so that's why I think about life is about the moment. Life is about right now. Time, I always tell people it is power in 24 hours. There's a whole lot of power in 24 hours. Right.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is if you really break down 24 hours in a day, if you want to really break it down, you actually got 1,440 minutes and 86,400 seconds in 24 hours. That's what each of us have the opportunity to have. And I did a speech at this place called the Penthouse down in New York City. And I talked about a story where I did a podcast and the lady kept asking me all these questions. I'm not you, but and I was hitting her with the questions, hitting her with I was very good. Then she hit me with the last question.
Mhm,
And she said, Otis, I got one more question for you. I said, what is it? She said, what is it that you wish for?
mm,
Hmm. So I had to think about that. I thought she had me. I was like, hmm. I said, what do I wish for? She said, yeah, what do you wish for?
mm.
So I thought about it and I said, I know what I wish for. I only wish for one thing. She said, what's that? I said, I only wish for more tomorrows.
Wow.
That's it. That's all I wish for. I
Mm,
said, because if I don't have another tomorrow, I don't have the opportunity to be better than the day before. And I don't have the opportunities to
mhm,
go on and try and obtain what it is I'm trying to go for. That's
mm,
all I wish for. That's why I try to worry about the moment. In my book, there's a famous, I put a quote in there. There's a lot of quotes in there
mhm,
about from this famous philosopher, Harvey Mackey. And he said, time is free but priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can't keep it, but you could spend it. However, once you lose it, you can never get it back.
wow.
That's all about the moment right
Mm,
now. Like you and I having this moment right now, we're talking, and I'm on
mhm,
your podcast. It's going to be broadcast later. Who
mhm.
knows what happens from now until the broadcast comes on,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So even after we wrap this up and you go offline and you're in Canada and I'm in New York and everything, that's the past now.
Mm,
What we take from this is all we have left at this moment from what we experience right now. So you might turn off your podcast and thank you, Otis, blah, blah, blah. As soon as you turn it up, Lord, he talked too much. Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know, you know. And
Mm.
then I'll be like, oh yeah, she was cool, the lady with the purple hair. I remember her. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. That's why when you talk about life for me, it's about now. It's about this moment right now.
Mhm.
That's all I can focus on.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. So Otis, where are you selling your books and where can people buy them? And how can people connect with you?
So as you can see in my background, that's the book cover, that's the name.
Mhm.
That's my $5 suit. Uh, you can reach me. The book is obviously on Amazon,
Mm.
right? And I also have the website, which I'm working on now, is otisdgoreauthor.com. But it's down right now because I'm adding some stuff. But Amazon is the place you can go to get the book. Just Google my name, Otis D Gore, and OTISDGORE. You'll find it on Amazon. The book is called The Audacity of Doubt. I'll be going around. I do a lot of book events. I have my table set up. I don't know if I'll be in Canada, but you could look me up on IG, of course. It's at Gore Otis D, which is my Instagram account. And I'm also on YouTube, of course, at ODG318. And of course, TikTok, at Otis.D.Gore.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Otis, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, for sharing your book. And I learned quite a lot from you just sharing, to be honest. I did.
Thank you.
I
Thank you
did.
so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you again for coming on the podcast.
Oh, and you enjoy the rest of your day and you be blessed. And thanks for having me.
You're welcome.